Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops 3 In Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the Tracker perk, which is the most underused perk in Black Ops 3, but it might be underused for a reason. We're going to start off here today with me using the perk to its fullest potential here in Team Deathmatch. I'm able to see an enemy jump up to the top story, and I can follow his footsteps all the way around this big crazy path and shoot him right square in the back. The next clip is pretty similar. I will admit that I noticed the footsteps before I noticed the guy wall running, and it was very easy to sneak up behind him and put some righteous buckshot into his rear end. The rest of the gameplay you're going to get to see today is me using the silenced Bresci shotgun here on Skyjack Team Deathmatch. I am running the Tracker perk, and I thought that this would be one of the better maps, one of the better scenarios to go ahead and showcase the perk. Also like the gun, so I wanted to give it a little bit of love too. But let's talk about what this perk does and a little bit of testing. The Tracker perk causes all enemy footsteps to leave a trail of glowing reddish orange footsteps. So anybody that walks on the map anywhere will leave a red trail for you to follow. This can be very effective at hunting down enemies, chasing them down. Perhaps if you're chasing a flag carrier or ball carrier and they go around the corner, you'll know where they go. On more than one occasion, I've seen somebody run into a room and they know I'm behind them, so what anybody logically is going to do is run into the room and camp somewhere, try to post up and catch me off guard. But since I can see their footsteps, I know exactly what corner they're going to be posted up into, which is also incredibly useful. The perk does have a few weaknesses. Of course, it doesn't have infinite range. There's only a finite distance at which you can see the footsteps, which we'll be testing in just a second. And it's rendered significantly less effective if the enemy is using hardwired. By my estimates, if the enemy has hardwired, it's going to erase about 60 to 70% of the footstep trail, which is a huge difference. And that perk's kind of making a comeback, so you'd be surprised at how many people actually run hardwired on their classes. We've skipped over to some testing of the perk here on the map Infection with J-Hub, and I'm having him walk around to show you that it's not actually a distance, but rather a timer of the footsteps. They slowly dissipate over time, so it's not a fixed distance of how far you move away from the end of the trail, but rather a set time that it takes for the feet to dissipate. Now, if you're running overdrive, if you're running faster or slower, this can vary a little bit, but the footage of J-Hub running all over the map should indicate to you that the trail can be quite long. However, if somebody is running hardwired, as is the case here, you'll notice that the trail is significantly shorter, and not necessarily the trail, but you'll notice that the footsteps that J-Hub leaves behind dissipate very quickly, making it much harder for you to track hardwired users. Just wanted to show you this little test so that you get a good visual of how quickly the footsteps dissipate normally and with hardwired, and in the case of most normal users, just how incredibly long that trail can be. And as you've noticed, it can be quite long, which can make it quite easy for you to hunt people down and kill them. I feel that the Tracker perk can be very useful in Search and Destroy and Team Deathmatch, and pretty much in that order. In Search and Destroy, if you just miss somebody, if you see the footsteps going in a certain direction, you can make a call out, you can make a play, you can cut them off, you can get a pick, all that kind of stuff. Very tactical game mode, so anything that is tactical can be very useful in Search and Destroy. It does have some validity in Team Deathmatch because your goal is to kill people. You can find campers, you can find somebody that you just missed. It gets significantly less useful in objective modes, domination, hardpoint. I guess I could kind of see it for CTF if you're chasing the flag carrier, but you do get an indicator anyway, so I probably wouldn't go for it there. As I said before, the perk is underused, and I think it's underused for a reason. It's not because the perk is inherently bad, but just because most other tier 2 perks are simply far better. Hardwired is better. Cold-blooded, fast hands, Scavenger, just to name a few. That's actually most of them, but almost all of them are super important and essential perks to your class, whereas Tracker is kind of more optional, and that's how I'd recommend you use it. I only recommend using Tracker if you have extra points available. If you've made a class that you're comfortable with and you just ended up having quite a few extra slots, Tracker is going to be fantastic for you. Is this a go-to perk? Absolutely not. Is this a must-have perk? No way, Jose, but it can be fun, and I find it to be the most useful, again, in Search and Destroy and Team Deathmatch. And if you're going to be running shotgun, knife only, close range weapons, much more useful than if you're doing anything long range. Guys, that's all for this short episode of In Depth. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. The previous episode was on how to raise your kill-death ratio in Team Deathmatch, and the next episode we're going to be talking about supply drop stats. Drifter out.